we're going back to, we want savages who can meet the standards. Welcome back to the show. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get to it. First topic.
Trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed.
Trump sent a stern message to the Venezuelan narco-terrorists. Go ahead, roll the clip.
Mr. President, if a boat strikes, if it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging onto that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
So to be clear, you support the decision to kill survivors after the initial
No, I support the decision to knock out the boats. And whoever's piloting those boats, most of them are gone. But whoever are piloting those boats, they're guilty of trying to kill people in our country.
I just can't believe that this is actually a thing in 2025, that people care so much about narco-terrorists, and if Trump is doing it humanely or if he's doing it legally. Do you think they would have had a problem with it if it was Obama doing it? No, they'd be like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. We're finally winning the war on drugs. Obama's finally stepping up and doing something about it. And do you think that they would care if these were like white German people doing the exact same thing? No, because see, the Venezuelans are the people that are being deported from America, right? They're the victims. So no, they should be able to traffic drugs because Trump is being so unfair to these people. That's what's really going on here, folks. Don't be fooled. But all right, let's get to the next topic here.
If that excludes females, then so be it.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth discussed maintaining very high military standards. Roll the clip.
Do you think readiness includes the fact that only men should be serving in combat roles?
We talked about this recently. I think my stance has been the standards need to be universally high. And I mean, at the male standard, high. And if that excludes females, then so be it. That's not the intent, but it could be the effect. And that's okay. Not because we're seeking to push anybody out, but because, again, the rule in that Quantico speech, I talked about the Department of War golden rule. And I think, and I've asked commanders to remember it in every decision that they make. Do unto your formation that which you would do unto your sons. So if your son or your daughter was in that platoon and they were about to deploy, what would you want? Would you want diversity for diversity's sake? Would you want gender equality for gender equality? No. You want the absolute best and most capable, no matter what, to the highest possible standard. That's what I want across the force. And however that shakes out gender-wise or any-wise is of no interest to me. And that's why we focus so directly on standards. And
what people
I think it'll have the entire intended effect.
Yeah, and what people don't get to see are all of the women serving who come up to him when he's visiting troops all around the country that say thank you. Thank you for doing that. Because if you do meet that standard, it should mean something. And it dilutes the whole thing. And so they are grateful.
How does it apply to, let's say, men who are woefully out of shape who are still in the uniform?
Then they should fail and they should fall out. And they should...
Are you giving them time to like get back into
We're
shape?
giving everybody time to get back. So all of these standards will apply on a 3 to 6 month horizon in each service. So everybody's going to have a chance to play the kind of catch up they might need to meet the standard. And then after that, standard's a standard. If you can't meet it, too bad.
Yeah, we are done faking the whole inclusivity thing, especially when it comes to the military. We don't need to be inclusive. We want savages, right? And we need people who can maintain the standard and meet the standard, right? Because the standard is the standard, and we don't need to be fluctuating it just so we can check some boxes off saying, well, we got enough women now, and we got enough trans people, and blah, blah, blah. And see, this is how it needs to be all the way through. All of the first responders needs to be held to very high standards as well, right? The whole fake notion that somebody wants to be saved by somebody that looks like them. So if I'm a black lesbian, I want a black lesbian firefighter to come pull me out of the burning building. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. That's a fake narrative. That whole narrative is completely done. We're going back to, we want savages who can meet the standards. But all right, let's get to the next topic here.
Is not only disgusting and racist, it does no facts to it.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, aka the most racist person in politics, completely melted down after being asked about black youth crime in Chicago. Roll the clip.
Hundreds of thousands of people have reached out to me expressing outrage.
I'm having a tough time trusting and believing you. You don't talk to that many people. There's just no way.
People reach out to me all the time.
Well, at 2.7 million people population in the city of Chicago, if you talk to hundreds of thousands of them, you are talking to what, 20, 30, 40% of the city population?
On a regular basis?
I bet any news organization in here would dream of having that kind of interaction with the population.
Yeah, your ratings are so substantial. Oh my gosh, I'm surprised you're here with just that limited equipment, because there's actually limited equipment that you are operating with right now. Let me just get to your question. I think I know what you're asking. You're asking me whether or not...
And by the way, the people who interact with me agree with me. They don't agree with you.
Okay.
Take a look at the comments.
We got it.
But the fact of the matter is simply this. That the fact that you think that a Christmas market across the street from City Hall is more a threat to public safety than violent black teenagers running down State Street shooting people at a Christmas tree lighting shows your priorities. What do you say to those people, citizens, black, brown, business leaders? What do you say to those people?
Got it.
Yeah. That if they get a phone call from you or they get an interaction with you, they should avoid you. I'm not going to entertain, because the whole premise of everything that you bring up is not only disgusting and racist, it does no facts to it. There is not a person in this city who spends more time working to ensure that we're protecting working people. There's not a person that spends more time thinking about it. In fact, our budget reflects that. My values reflect that. You would do yourself good service by actually showing up in this room with some level of integrity as well as some honesty. You don't operate in any of that.
Yeah, the funny thing about that is his people actually put that video out thinking it made him look good, I guess because he called the reporter out for, talking to 100,000 people or whatever. But all that made him look like was a stupid moron who can't answer a tough question. He was presented with a perfectly legitimate question about black youth and why he cares more about a Christmas market across from City Hall or whatever than black youth going and killing people in Chicago every weekend, if there's 25 people dead, like that's a good weekend in Chicago. So this guy is just such a pathetic loser and just such a racist too. He's the biggest racist in politics, and if people don't see that, then they're just total morons. But all right, let's get to the next topic here.
They were horrible what they were doing to the costs, and actually making the car much worse.
Trump is making cars great again. Roll the clip.
From day one, I've been taking action to make buying a car more affordable. I signed an executive order to end the unfair, expensive electric vehicle mandate. As you know, we had to have an electric car within a very short period of time, even though there was no way of charging them and lots of other things. It would have cost $5 trillion to build the charging plants. And as you know, in certain parts of the Midwest, they spent, to build 9 chargers, they spent $8 billion. So that wasn't working out too well. That was done before me, by the way. I wouldn't have let it go forward. We're canceling the EPA's absurd tailpipe emission standards, one of the most important things that I've never had a group of people come to me more powerfully and really just devastated that they had to do it. It was killing them, than the automobile manufacturers, the tailpipe emission standards. And I can tell you, your people at Ford were coming to me all the time, and they were saying, like, please, it doesn't do anything, and it's killing us. And it's driving the cost through the roof. And we revoked Biden's emissions waiver for California so that California communists could not regulate the automobile industry and ruin the entire nation of automobiles. And they were doing that too. But we have that now under control also with your governor, who's got much more than he can control. Now, under the new rules being issued today by Secretary Duffy, the Department of Transportation will rescind the Biden fuel economy prices. And I hate to say that because they were really not economy. They were really, they were anti-economy. They were horrible what they were doing to the costs and actually making the car much worse. But these policies forced automakers to build cars using expensive technologies that drove up costs, drove up prices, and made the car much worse. The action is expected to save the typical consumer at least $1,000 off the price of a new car, and we think substantially more than that.
Yeah, him rolling back all these Biden-era regulations, the EVs and the tailpipe emissions, it totally needed to be done because it was all fake news that caused it anyways. Oh, climate change, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, people don't want to have regulations on them with the cars they're able to buy, right? Especially in California with the EV mandates and all that. Yeah, that was never going to happen. Everybody in California knew that was never going to happen, but yeah, I mean, Trump rolling back as many regulations as he possibly can is always going to be a good thing. You don't want to be over-regulated, especially in America. America's not about over-regulation, but somehow it got that way. And especially with cars and just basically everything, building things, it's just like, people are regulated to hell and they're completely sick of it. But all right, that's it for today. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you again.